Hello everybody, I'm Roxy and this is Wreck Me BS. I think this is a little crooked. Okay, I think there we have it. Maybe. I don't know. Hi. So today I bring you sort of a TBR. You know I don't do TBRs anymore because I'm terrible at following them. But I also have like a sort of discussion regarding the book that I'm going to take for a trip. So I mentioned in my last video that I'm going to London and I'm going to buy lots of books there. So basically what I need is a book for a really long flight. And this book cannot be just any book, it has to be light. Also, like, it has to be long enough to last the whole flight and kind of like the first day, because the first day that I get there I need to buy supplies for the apartment and I don't know if I'm going to get to go to a bookstore. Although I may, because I'm staying near South Kensington and there's a really nice one there. A bookstore, I mean, not supermarket. And I'm also carrying my Kindle because I'm doing a research project and like the books that I'm using are on my Kindle. So I don't know how true it is that it needs to be the whole flight, so maybe it doesn't need to be that long. On top of that, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be reading the next 3 months. Of course, some books I might not get to and some new books might come into play. And of course, the first 2 weeks of July I'm going to be reading whatever I acquire over there. But when I come back, hopefully I'm going to be focusing on these books. So I extended this sentiment up to September. I think it's a good period of time. Okay, let's begin with pretty strong candidate, Tender is the Night by Scott Fitzgerald. I'm reading this and really enjoying it. This is about like a rich marriage that we're actually friends with Fitzgerald, and so he dedicates this book to them. So I think he's kind of afraid to go and explore those deep dark places that he does in Gatsby, but still, like, it's Fitzgerald and his prose is amazing. Similar to that, although a little bulkier, I have Night and Day and Jacob's Room by Virginia Woolf. Again, I've started reading Night and Day and it's like really good. It's early Virginia Woolf, but still really good. Then we have On Writing by Stephen King, and this is another really strong contestant. This is Stephen King's memoir where he also gives advice to aspiring writers, which I think is awesome. Every single person I know that has read this has absolutely adored this book. Then I have Cork, Dork by Bianca Bosker, and this is a non-fiction book whose tagline is a wine-fueled journey into the art of sommeliers and the science of taste. And this, of course, talks about wine, and I think our 1 year journey the author makes like into the world of sommeliers. I know nothing about wine in technical sense. I like wine, I enjoy good wine, but yeah, I know nothing about it more than that. I also have In Montmartre, Picasso, Matisse and Modernism in Paris, 1900s to 1910. And actually I picked this up in London, which would be funny. Last time I was there for like 3 days in summer, winter over there. I read 28 pages. This was really good, but denser than I expected. It's also like a little heavier than other books, although it might not seem like it. So I don't think I would take this, but I definitely want to get to this soon. Last book that I was kind of thinking of taking, but now I'm not very sure, just because of weight alone, Swann's Way by Marcel Proust. So I want to read this book so bad. And a professor mentioned it was a good thing to read it while you were on vacation. And I was going to take it at first, because it's also very long, so I wouldn't have like the problem of running out of pages. But it's heavier than I remembered. And I know like you are thinking, oh my god, Roxy, all these books are so light, what are you complaining about? Yes, they are, but in book terms, no, they are not. If you go to my other video, you will understand why am I talking so much about book space and weight. And yeah, go check that video out after this one. Okay, so these are the books that I'm actually thinking of taking, and now I'm going to go to other books that I just want to read from here to November. So the first one is Stoner by John Williams. I've heard mixed things, but mostly great things. Also have this very beautiful cloth-bound vintage classic, which is literally the most beautiful edition I've seen of Stoner. The story of a professor thing, or a man who wants to be a professor, and it's supposed to be like really depressing. Goes with my wall. Part of my Goldsmith Prize challenge, of which I already uploaded the first wrap-up video. I am like 3 wrap-ups behind, but those I haven't recorded yet, so they can wait. Satin Island by Tom McCarthy, and this is supposed to be all about like communication and dystopian future where technology has estranged us from one another, and it's supposed to be great. The topic sounds a little cliche, but if properly done, I think it's an inexhaustible resource. This is a Spanish edition of Utopia for Realists by Rutger Bregman. It was a birthday present and it seems so interesting. It's about like wage and working hours, and I think that's so interesting, and I'm very interested in what this book has to tell me. Then I have the Book of Strange New Things by Michel Faber. I'm 262 pages in. I'm enjoying it, but not as much as I hope I would. And the character is not the most compelling character ever. I'm enjoying it, but it's definitely not as life-changing as I expected. A pastor that goes to another planet to basically preach to a new flock of aliens, and I think that's fascinating, but the way it's being carried out, not what I expected. Then I have BookTube's very own Jen Campbell with the Bookshop book. It seems so interesting and like such a beautiful book, and Jen Campbell has so much love for independent bookstores and bookstores in general, and this just seems so beautiful. I just want to read it so badly. And it's a book all about bookstores, and some of them I've actually been to and some of them I haven't, and I wish one day I'll be able to go. Then I have The Art of Rivalry, and again this is a Spanish edition by Sebastian Smee. So this is friendship, betrayal and breakup in modern art, and basically talks about like famous rivalries and how they sort of got the best out of the other and brought all this creative energy about, and how like rivalry sometimes can be very healthy for for art and creating. So we have Matisse and Picasso, Manet and Degas, Pollock and de Kooning, and Freud and Bacon, which I think it's interesting. Oh, and it's actually a Pulitzer Prize winner, which I think is quite cool. Related to that, I have The Secret Sisterhood. This is a signed copy that I picked up at Foyle's that talks about friendship and rivalry between different female authors throughout time. So it says behind the hidden friendships of Austen, Bronte, Eliot and Woolf. Then I have a reread. I want to reread What Are You Looking At? 150 Years of Modern Art. This was one of the best books I read last year. I really want to reread it because there's only so much you can get out of like a first read. And of course, I'm still making my way very slowly, but that's a decision, through The View from the Cheap Seats by Neil Gaiman, and this is just a joy to read. So those are all of the books I'm kind of planning on reading in the next 2 to 3 months. For some people this might not seem like much for 3 months. To me it is. Remember, I like study literature, so I have lots to read for college, and also just I don't like to make strict TBRs. I used to do it, and then I realized I never followed them, so what's the point? But this I'm pretty confident I'm going to get to. And comment, have you read any of these books? Do you want to read any of these books? And anything you want to comment, you can do so down below. I also have a bunch of links to my social media. I have a Bookstagram, I have a Twitter account, I have a curious cat if that's your thing. So there are lots of things that you can do there. And see you next time. Bye!